Hello, everybody. Sorry for my delay. Just getting some technical difficulties worked out. Just give me one more minute. I have to plug in my computer, and then I am very happy to start Parsha Shiur on Parsha's Day. So just give me one moment. Okay. I hope everybody is enjoying their snow day on this very nice and sunny day after a storm. I see that a number of you have joined, and I look forward to learning together, Bezrat Hashem. So, this week we read Parshas Pekudei, but the truth is that we generally think about Parshas Pekudei as a unit along with Parshas Vayakel. So, what I'd like to do this morning is to begin by focusing a little bit on Parshas Vayakel Pekudei as a unit, and then we'll zero in on some beautiful ideas related to Parshas Pekudei in particular. If you have a question that you'd like to run by me, feel free to use the chat on the side of the screen. I'm happy to see your questions as they come up. So let's begin with, as I said, some general ideas regarding Parshas Pekudei. Rabbeinu Bachya has a beautiful medrash that he begins with when he asks, in which he basically asks the following question. He wants to know, why is there so much repetition when it comes to the Mishkan? Because after all, the Ribbono Shel Olam tells us to build the Mishkan in Parshat Truma. And then we have another tzivoy regarding the Mishkan in Parshas Kitisa. And then we have the entire implementation of everything that we are asked to do that is outlined for us in Parshas Vayakel and Pekudei. Why doesn't the Torah just cut out Vayakel and Pekudei and simply tell us Vaya'asu chen b'nei Yisrael, that the Jewish people did as God asked them to do? Why do I need the entire Parsha of Teruma and the entire Parsha of Tetzaveh essentially repeated in the form of Vayakel and Pekudei? That's the question that Rabbeinu Bachya is dealing with, and the answer is based on the Medrash. So let me read to you a little bit of the text itself. The Rabbeinu Bachya says like this: Im tistakel b'sidarim eleh. If you look at these parshios, timtze ma'aseh hamishkan v'chol kelav niskar sham harbe pa'amim. You will know that in these parshas, the idea of building the Mishkan is repeated a number of times. HaKadosh Baruch Hu hiskir leMoshe shnei pamim. Hashem first mentions it to Moshe twice. Techila hiskiro beprat b'seder v'yichuli. First, Hashem tells Moshe to build the Mishkan in v'yichuli, which is a reference to Parshas Truma. V'chazar v'hiskiru derech klal be'kitisa be'parsha re'ei karasi b'shem. Then the tzibo is repeated in Parshas Kitisa. V'hayaha inyan lahaskiro chamisha pamim. And then all the Mishkan is referenced, the tzivoy of building the Mishkan is referenced 5 times. What's the reason why? Hakol lema'alas hamishkan b'derech chiba. All of this is because the Mishkan is so special, and it is a beloved, unique space for God and the Jewish people. Hakol lema'alas hamishkan. It's all done because of the special nature of the Mishkan, v'derech chiba, and because Hashem loves the Jewish people. And we find a similar instance that the phrase B'nai Yisrael is repeated 5 times in the span of one pasuk in Sefer Bamidbar, and Chazal explained for the same reason, it's all derech chiba. Kishem shematzinu shehiskir hakasub chamisha pamim Yisrael b'pasuk echad b'seder b'haloscha. Just like the term Yisrael is used 5 times in one pasuk in Parshas Ba'aloscha, v'hakol derech chiba u'ma'ala. It is all because Hashem loves and treasures the Jewish people and the Mishkan. And girls, we know this to be true. When you love something, you want to talk about it again and again and again. when you feel close to something, when you're proud of something. You just want to keep going at it, talking about it again and again and again, because you love it. You love talking about it. So that's the way the Ribono Shel Olam feels about the Mishkan. He loves it. He loves the Jewish people, so he'll be repetitive. And it all reflects the same idea of an intimacy, of a closeness, of a connection between Am Yisrael and the Jewish people. In a similar vein, Rabbeinu Bachya notes that we see a repetition in another place in the Torah, and it reflects this very idea. Way back in Sefer Bereshis, regarding the mission Eliezer goes on to find a suitable match for Yitzchak. So in that context also, the Torah tells us that Abraham makes Eliezer take a shvuah. Eliezer goes back to Abraham's birthplace and he asks Hashem to do the miracle with the water, so on and so forth. When Eliezer finally gets to Besuel's house, the Torah records what Eliezer says, which is simply a rehash of everything that took place from the time Abraham made Eliezer take an oath until he gets to Besuel's home. So why does the Torah repeat it all? So it's the same idea, says Rabbeinu Bachya. It's all because when Hashem loves something, he wants to talk about it again and again. What is this compared to? This can be compared to a king who sends his son off to school. When the son comes home, the king asks his son, did you eat healthy foods? Shasa beri, did you drink healthy drinks? Damach beri, is your blood healthy? Aza beri lebeisafra, did you go with safety to school? Asibra mibeisafra, did you come home safely? Every detail the king treasures because he loves his son. Torah b'sipur Eliezer. Shekol devarav kifulim. This is the same idea we find by Eliezer, where it's all repeated. Amru yafes sichas avdei avus lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitorasan shalbanim. That's why Chazal say that the words of the servants of the patriarchs are so beloved that Hashem lists all of that rather than listing important information regarding mitzvos. We've got more information regarding Eliezer's repetitious conversation than we do regarding Hilchos Shabbos. The Ribono Shel Olam loves the avos, and therefore the conversation of even the avdei avos, the servants of the avos, are so beloved to Hashem that Hashem lists that in the Torah. And that's the medrash that Rabbeinu Bachya quotes from. Sharei beParshas Eliezer kol devar kifulim. In Parshas Eliezer, everything is repeated. Ubishnayim mishlosha dapim hi amura. It takes up many columns in the Torah. V'kama mitzvos b'Torah teluyos b'os achas u'b'tev achas. V'hein hein gufa Torah. And how many mitzvos are not even directly referenced in the Torah at all, and they form the majority of the Torah itself. And all of this is, again, to reflect the idea of love and closeness that Hashem feels with the Avos and with the Jewish people at large. I will also add that the Rambam talks about this idea in a similar vein, in a different context, though, regarding the mitzvah of Ahavas Hashem. The Rambam says, what does it mean to have a true love for Hashem? So the Rambam answers, when you want to talk about Hashem to everybody that you meet. Because when you love something, you don't want that love to be harbored and harnessed just inside. You want it to be shared with everybody on the outside. So when a person truly has Ahavas Hashem, everybody that they come in contact with, they share about their love of Hashem. And that's the expression of this profound mitzvah of Ahavas Hashem. Okay, very nice idea. So that is why, even though the parshios of Vayakel and Pekudei seem repetitive, in actuality they are not repetitive. Well, that's not true. They are repetitive, but don't interpret the repetition as simply God not knowing what else to say and wanting to fill his Torah with something, but rather understand it as this reflection of a profound, deep intimacy and love that the Ribono Shel Olam has with the Jewish people, the Ribono Shel Olam has with the Mishkan, and that's why God rehashes the details again and again and again. Okay, any questions on that first point? If you want to write in the chat now, Do you have any questions regarding what I just said? Okay. I'll take that as a no. Good. So let's move on. Next point. Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky also makes a beautiful observation. This is going to be a theme that we're going to speak about a little bit over the coming few minutes, regarding the unusual opening of the parsha that we read this past week in Shiur, Vayakel. Vayakel Moshe es kol adas b'nei Israel. Why does Moshe have to gather everybody? Why isn't it sufficient to just teach the halachos of the Mishkan? There are many, many, many mitzvos in the Torah where the opening phrase is Vayidabra Hashem Moshe Lemur. Hashem speaks to the Jewish people. Why do we need the additional phrase of Vayakel Moshe gathering? So Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky in Emes Yaakov, he writes as follows. He says, Ha'egel haya ha'hefech shel Matan Torah. The egel was the exact opposite of Matan Torah. Kiva Matan Torah Amru Chazal. When it comes to Matan Torah, our rabbis explain to us, Vayichan Yisroel Kishachad V'Levechad, that we encamped around Har Sinai like one person with one heart. Vikan Amru B'Yerushalmi, and yet when it comes to the Yerushalmi, with regard to the Chet Egel, the Gemara tells us Ki Yud Beis Agalim Naasu, that the Jewish people did not make one golden calf, but in fact they made 12 golden calves. Va'avu Eluchus Harbe, and they desired to have multiple gods. So part of the sin of Chet Egel was not simply worshipping idolatry, but it was worshipping multiple forms of idolatry. Each Shevet created their own god. And that's based on the Psukim in Parsha Kitisa, where the Jewish people say to Aaron, Naselanu Elokim. They speak in the plural Elokim. It's not entirely clear if that's meant to be one god or multiple gods, but it definitely could be read as Elokim, multiple gods. So we see that the Jewish people wanted to have multiple gods. The Medrash says, the Gemara rather says, that each Shevet made their own Egel HaZahav. Arim Matzinu Elohei Moab, Elohei Edom Chadome. Yaakov says, we know that with the other nations, they just have one God. They might not worship our God, the Eibishter, the right God, but they have their version of one God. There's only one deity per nation. So why suddenly were the Jewish people longing for multiple gods? It must be that the Jewish people themselves struggled to make a decision which god, which idolatry they wanted to worship, and therefore they could not have any unity. And each god, each tribe made their own god, made their own egel. Every shevet had their own god. And therefore, when Moshe came to warn the Jewish people about the Mishkan, if Moshe came and said, Chevra, we're going to build the Mishkan, the first step was to unify the Jewish people, because there was such disunity that happened amongst Am Yisrael at the time of the Chet Egel. Every tribe wanted their own idol. I want this idol, I want that idol. They could not agree. And there was such a period, such a separation amongst the Jewish people, that Moshe's first step in being metakin and fixing what went wrong is Vayakel, to bring everybody together, that there should be a sense of achdus. The point of the Vayakel was to bring everybody together, everybody focused on one purpose, on one sense of mission and goal of building the Mishkan. And once that happened, then they were able to go ahead. This was the first step in the tikkun, in the fix for what went wrong by the Chet Egel. And this is a theme that I'd like to discuss for a little bit, for maybe another 10 minutes or so, regarding Parshas Pekudei. Because in Parshas Pekudei, the Mefarshim tell us quite explicitly that there are so many dimensions in this parsha that are here to offset what went wrong when they worshipped the Avodah Zarah with the Chet Egel. So if you look with me, actually I only have the sheet, so you'll have to just listen to me. In Parshas Pekudei, Parak Lamed Ches, Pasuk Chaf Aleph, it's the opening pasuk of Parshas Pekudei. Elef Fikudei HaMishkan Mishkan HaIdus Asher Pukad Al Pi Moshe. Avodas Halevi and Biad Isamar ben Aaron HaKohen. These are the countings of the Mishkan of testimony that was counted by Moshe. It fell into the bailiwick of the Leviim, which was in charge, and Itamar was in charge of the Kohanim. Okay, a lot there in that pasuk. Let's zero in on something that Or HaChaim says, a very beautiful idea. Od Yirmos be'omro Eile. The fact that Parshas Pekudei begins with the words Eile Pekudei. So Od Yirmos be'omro Eile al derech Amram. This is based on what we say. Imasisa chavilos asa kenegdan chavilos shemitzvah. The Medrash says the person sins, then the way to uproot that sin, the way to achieve kapara, is by doing the opposite. Ki tzarech ha'adam lithakein hachet bidugma. A person has to fix their sin with something similar. In other words, if a person falters in a certain area, the tikkun for that avera has to be in that certain area. V'hinei Yisrael chatuv amru eila Elohecha. We know the Jewish people sinned when they said, "These are the gods." The Jewish people, as we saw from Yaakov, it was maybe even multiple gods. Eila Elohecha. Lazeba eile zos. Bebechinas hazichos lekaparas avonzeh. That's why we have the word eila beginning in Parshas Pekudei to offset, to remove the guilt of the words eila Elohecha. So it's a very beautiful idea, girls. Our Parsha Eila Pekudei begins as a way to rectify what went wrong with Eila Elohecha. V'timta ki amru ha'edos, and Or HaChaim says further that when the Mishkan is described as the Mishkan ha'edos, what is that edos to? She'edos hu lahem shnechaper avon egel. It is testimony to the idea that Hashem has forgiven the Jewish people. That's the edos that the pasuk is referring to. And when you look carefully, you will find Kichol prate avon ha'egel b'chenegdam b'mishkan. Every detail of the Mishkan is coming to rectify what went wrong in the egel. Hem hit avu ta'ava. They had a desire by the chita egel. Elohim asher yelchu lifneihem, for a God that would walk in front of them. Hinei hinam hichinu makom l'Hashem Elokim emes lios lifneihem. Now they have created a space, a true space for Hashem to walk in front of them. Banu Mizbeach Valu Olos, the Jewish people by the golden calf built an altar and worshipped sacrifices that were idolatrous. Now they have created an altar, a place for the Jewish people to bring correct korbanos to Hashem. Nasnu Zahavam. The people by the golden calf took off their gold. Now they've taken off their gold for the right reasons. Now they took off all their gold and silver and their jewelry, everything. They took it off for the sake of Hashem. They took off their earrings. As I said, all the jewelry came off. Originally came off for the Chet Egel. Now Baruch Hashem it comes off to build the Mishkan. Parshas Vayakel, asu mimunim alav lasoso. Hinam pakdu b'tzala. Originally they went to the leaders to ask them to build the golden calf, specifically Aaron. Now they appointed leaders to build the Mishkan. Now they went to B'tzalel to build the Mishkan. Amru Eila Elohecha, Hine Eila Pekudim Lekapara. And that's the idea that we said before. Every step along the way in the Mishkan is a tikkun, is a fix for what went wrong by the Chet Egel. But ladies, it goes even deeper. The beautiful insight from the Beis Halevi, who explains that having this idea in mind can now allow us to better appreciate a phrase that comes up so many times in Parshas Pekudei. Yirtzeh Hashem, you'll all be in shul this Shabbos, and you'll hear the Bal Koreh who will say the words Ka'asher Tziva Hashem. He will say those words again and again and again. Ka'asher Tziva Hashem. Ka'asher Tziva Hashem. It's throughout Parshas Pekudei. That is the refrain. What do we make of these words? Says the Beis Halevi. This is Rabbi Soloveitchik's great-grandfather. His father was of Moshe Soloveitchik. His father was of Chaim Soloveitchik, and his father was Yosef Dov Soloveitchik, the Beis Halevi. And the Beis Halevi says we can understand why Kasher Tziva Hashem comes up so often in Parshas Pekudei. Because the Chet HaEgel, the essence of what went wrong with the Chet HaEgel is that the Jewish people came up with their own idea how to solve this problem on their own. They needed a leader. They needed something to walk in front of them, and they came up with the idea on their own. It was not Kasher Tziva Hashem. So on the most fundamental level, the thing that the Jewish people did wrong was not listening to what Hashem wanted of them. So now, Kasher Tziva Hashem. Now everything which is being done in the Mishkan is exactly as the Ribono Shalom wanted it to be. Right? So Beis Halevi uvazen navin. Now we can understand Mad Parshas Pekudei. Al kol prat v'prat v'al ma'aseh u'ma'aseh she'asu b'Mishkan kasav mefurash kasher tziva Hashem es Moshe. But now we understand why with every detail we find that phrase. The tevos halalu ksuvim kemat b'chol pasuk v'pasuk shebe'oseh parsha v'halo davarhu. The Beis Halevi says it's like in every single pasuk. It's incredible. Rak ha'inyan, the matter can be explained. The purpose of building the Mishkan is to get kapara for the Egel. And he quotes the Medrash. It's the same Medrash that the Chaim was working off of. Next part of the Beis Halevi. The essence of what they did wrong at the Chet HaEgel was trying to be wise on their own, coming up with their own ideas. Coming up with ideas that they were not commanded in. That's why when it comes to the Mishkan, everything is Kasher Tziva Hashem. Even though Betzalel was a very wise man, a Kabbalist, he knew how to combine different letters and make incredible spiritual connections. He knew all sorts of deep secrets. Doesn't make a difference. The only thing that was motivating Betzalel was to do it as Hashem wanted. This was not done because Hashem's seichel, because our seichel, was guarding us. And this is what ultimately achieved the kapara for the Jewish people. A really beautiful idea, girls. It's one that we have to ask ourselves, in our own lives. Sometimes we like to be involved in Jewish practices because it makes us feel good. It's fun to celebrate Purim. It's fun to sit around and tell stories at Passover time on Pesach. And we have to ask ourselves a hard question: are we doing it because it's avodas atzmo, or are we really being ovdei Hashem? Why is it we are doing what we are doing? It's important to enjoy it. You should enjoy Purim. You should enjoy Pesach. It should be a gishmak. But on the most fundamental level, everything that we do as Ovdei Hashem should be Kasher Tziva Hashem. What does Hashem want from me? That needs to be the primary question that we ask ourselves every step of every day. Kasher Tziva Hashem. Okay, why don't we stop here, girls? It was a pleasure to learn with everybody. Are there any questions before I hop off? Any questions? No? We're good? Okay. You know what? Before we sign off, let's just grab in 2 more minutes for another short Dvar Torah. There's a really nice idea from the Panim Yafos where he quotes from the Medrash in the Yalkut that goes as follows: Isa b'Medrash Yalkut af al pi shaya Moshe gizbar la'atzmo haya kora la'achirim u'mechabev al yedehem. Even though Moshe was the one in charge of collecting all of the resources for the Mishkan, nonetheless, the Torah tells us, Biyad Isamar ben Aaron HaKohen. He also called in Isamar to help with the collections. So what do you make of that? So Neira de Ramez Bekan Mashakas Baba Basra. He quotes Gemara in Baba Basra on Chasm Beis. Ein Osin Serara al Hatzibor Pachos Mishnayim. That you never have people in charge of the community unless it's more than, or unless it's at least two people. In other words, it always needs to be a shared responsibility. It wasn't just one person that took the gold when it was donated to the Mishkan, it was multiple. Moshe didn't want to be the only one responsible for collecting the money, because when it comes to Jewish leadership, we have to be above any suspicion whatsoever. So Moshe understood that if he was the only one holding the money, maybe they would say, "Oh, Moshe, you seem to be driving a fancier car these days. Maybe you took off a little bit from the money that was collected for the Mishkan." And Moshe did not want to have any question whatsoever. He acted lefnei mishuras hadin, and that is why when he came, he did not do so by himself, says the Panim Yafos, but he came along with Isamar. He did not want to be the only one responsible. Tziref imo as Itamar. He also brought with him Itamar. Shaya memuna al avodas halavim. Shehem hadavar mamurim beparsha. It was Itamar who was going to ultimately be responsible for all of the items in the Mishkan, for moving the Mishkan when it was built. So Itamar made a lot of sense. So Moshe says, Itamar, come. Together we will count the money that has been collected for the Mishkan. But I don't want to do it myself. Because as a Jewish leader, I need to be above any suspicion whatsoever. I need to hold myself lifnei mishuras hadin. And that is why also, when we are introduced to B'tzala, we are also introduced to Ahaliab. Sorry, girls. Ahaliab. Because, same idea. B'tzala is going to be working with communal resources. He should not be doing so alone. There should be somebody else. You always want to be above the mark of suspicion. That's why he also, B'tzal, called Ahaliahav, so that together they would be touching communal money. But you always want to make sure you're above any suspicion whatsoever, always acting lifnei michuras hadin. Another nice short idea from the Panim Yafos. Okay, girls, I hope you enjoyed this few minutes of learning together. Kol hakavod to everybody who joined the stream. And I look forward to learning in person with you in Mir Hashem tomorrow. Have a good day and stay warm. Bye-bye.